Cuckoo!
Hi, it's Kim today. I am back with episode 2 of our mini-series, French Women Unfiltered. So this series, for those of you new to listening, is where we're interviewing wonderful French women, and they're giving a real honest perspective of how French women think about life in general. We're going to talk about everything from motherhood to work to style to identity. So all the fun topics. And this is going to be, their own perspective going beyond cliches and offering some interesting perspective, advice, and inspiration. So with that, I'm very excited to have Camille.
I'm so happy to.
Thank you. Camille and I got the chance to get to know each other actually through an introduction. And then she is actually a wonderful professional stylist, hairdresser, and I would say the best in Aix-en-Provence. And I have tried a lot. And she really specializes in brunettes like me trying to be blonde. She's really helped my mission here because it was a lot easier in California, probably because I spoke the language, but I was very happy to find you.
Thank you.
Every time I get to see her, she's just a bundle of joy and such positive energy to be around. And so I'm so happy to have you today on the podcast.
I'm so excited too.
Oh, good. Well, Camille, just tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you were born in France, right?
So I was raised in the south of France.
Okay.
But not near Aix-en-Provence, was more towards the Gare,
okay.
So near between Avignon, Uzès, and Nîmes.
Okay.
I grew up there, and then eventually, because I wanted to pursue my career in hairdressing in Vidal-Sassoon, I decided to move to London.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Did you speak English?
I wasn't speaking English at all, even though I stayed in the French system for 10 years.
Yes.
I mean, I couldn't say anything, but to be fair,
gosh, good for you.
Yeah, I felt the British, they were very nice.
Oh, that's good.
And obviously we know them as polite, and so they were very sweet.
Oh, good.
So yeah, I decided to go there, and after 10 years, I've met my husband, and we decided to come back to south of France, where I was raised, to grow up and also have a child.
Yes, okay.
So this is where we are now in Aix-en-Provence, and we're loving obviously the city, the scenery, and of course, we do miss a little bit of the British influence.
Yes, I'm sure.
But it's also lovely to have this perspective of life.
Yeah, that's great. And so your husband is British, and you have a daughter, correct? And how old is your daughter?
So my daughter, Pearl, she's 6 years old.
Oh, that's wonderful. And she was born in London or born in France?
She was made in London and born in France.
Okay. I love it. Maybe don't tell her that right now.
Not yet, no.
So is she dual citizen?
For administrative perspective, it's be hard to have the
I'm sure
now, but by her dad, she will.
Okay. Oh, that's
she
great.
Will be like British and French at the same time.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's great.
And tell me a little bit about what language you speak at home.
So to be fair, because we kind of circular people, we're not very square. We've been doing a bit of everything.
Really?
And obviously, when Matt my husband came to live in France, he couldn't speak any French.
Really?
So he really wanted to learn because he felt very difficult to be a parent in another place.
Of course.
So he decided to gradually learn it and eventually forgot a little bit English because he really wanted.
So he got completely immersed in French.
Completely
and you spoke
immersed.
French together?
Most of the time.
Wow.
Even though we met in English.
I was going to say, what was your language that you met in London?
We were talking English.
You were speaking English.
But then very quickly in France, because everything is obviously very French.
Yes.
There is not so much of like Froglish.
Yes, English. Yeah.
So we had to
adapt
completely, and he did it well.
Wow.
But it is true then that my daughter, of course, she heard many times her dad talking English, but it was very much the both languages at home.
Wow, that's so great.
But mostly French.
Okay.
But now, after going back to Christmas in the UK, we realized she's completely fluent.
So she can speak like fluent English and she understands and How cool is that?
And it's very cute because, in fact, last time we were there, I was talking English and suddenly she looked at me and she said, like, Mom, you've got an accent. And I said, like, okay, how dare you?
Oh, yes.
But yeah, it's very cute.
Oh, I think it's cute. But my kids, they can't even listen to me speak French because the accent, they said, hurts their ears. So I completely understand that. I think it's hard when you learn a second language as an adult and it's just hard to pick up the nuance.
It's never going to be the same.
It's never going to be the same. So,
and that's okay.
And that's okay. And we should respect that. I think kids
it's beautiful
are just,
to hear
so curious about.
Yeah. And it's also nice to hear your kid to not having any accent.
Yes, it's amazing.
Because you felt like, wow.
Wow, I know. And it's amazing that I was sharing this on a different episode, but if they learn a second language before the age of 10 years old, and they are kind of immersed in it, they will never have an accent in that second language.
It's incredible.
So all good things. Okay, so you've lived in the UK, you're back in France. What part of being French do you feel most in your daily life? Is it routines that you do, like food, or is it perspective?
I think the routine of the food.
Okay,
probably.
Okay.
Because it's such a strong culture here around food.
Yes.
I think we very much freedom with this. Like the idea still of having a breakfast, having a lunch, having a dinner, like perhaps a goûter if you have a kid.
Yes.
But I will say like definitely food.
Food, okay. And when you were in the UK, did you cook like French style meals or is that something?
I used to a little bit.
Okay.
Because as a French person, it's very difficult when you live in a different country to actually go to a restaurant where they're supposed to do French food. Because
it's not really French.
And also it's super expensive. And I'm like, I'm sure I can make a better croissant dauphinois. So, I mean, we did it. But because, especially when I met Matt, I really wanted to be like, let's go to a French restaurant.
Yes.
But
not so much.
Not so much.
Yes.
So it's very interesting as well because I think when I used to live in London as a French person, over there, it's almost like you're even becoming more French.
Really? Why?
Because for some reason, you still do feel very attached to your roots.
Of course.
And also, I think people, they make you feel this way. They make you always feel like you're a foreigner in some way.
Like you're an outsider. Yes.
But not necessarily always in a negative way.
Yes.
But no matter what you do, you're always doing it because you're French. And I'm like, surely, like I have also a personality beyond my nationality.
Yes, of course.
But it's very interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel that way sometimes here. We had French families over on Friday evening for my son's 9th birthday. And just little ways of like the traditions of how like an apéro is supposed to go. And so an apéro is like an aperitif happy hour that, you have your champagne in like one area. And then I didn't know we were supposed to sort of move rooms. And I could tell that the French women were sort of guiding me like, okay, we have that in here. And now should we go out here? And anyways, it was just because I'm not used to it. And there wasn't like in a judgmental way, but you know how it feels like you're just like, I don't know exactly how to do this.
But this is it. To go back to your question, what it is the most French thing?
Yeah.
It's probably this, the rules.
The rules.
Everything's got an order. And to be fair, even though I feel I'm not so much part of it,
do you find yourself doing it?
Because my husband is like, you and your rules. And I don't even feel I'm not that strict.
No,
so I think we very much conditioned.
Yes, conditioned.
And the school system is also a little bit like that.
For sure.
Or very much like this compared to the Anglo-Saxon
Yes, for
culture.
sure. Yes, agreed.
And it's very interesting. But we do have so many rules. Like, and in fact, there is also something amazing, which I think.
Yes.
Because I realized because of my husband.
Yes.
The stress of cutting cheese.
Cutting cheese?
Oh
my goodness. I haven't had a French person watch me cut cheese, thankfully. Okay, tell me what it is.
For me, it's not a big deal. I like but it is true that when Matt first met my family, it was almost like cutting square into like a Roquefort shape triangle thing. So they were looking at him a bit like...
Okay, so wait, the Roquefort's the blue cheese, right? Like the very strong...
Very strong.
I love it, actually. It's delicious.
I mean, the cheese is like...
But so how are you supposed to cut it or not supposed to cut it?
But there is a book about it.
There's a book about it?
There is a book about it.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So this is a way to tell you how much everything is written and like...
So there's a rule about how you're supposed to cut this certain type of cheese.
Yeah,
or not cut it.
Yeah, because in fact, you're supposed to make things the most equal for the next person who's going to serve yourself. So there is an ideal, quite nice.
Yes, that is
but
nice.
It also can be a very big stress when other people are not French, you know.
Well, of course. I'm just so glad. Every time I've had
I don't eat cheese.
No, I order a like already done, like beautiful apéro platter.
Oh, lovely.
Because I realized that I know I would do it wrong. Like I wouldn't have the right types of cheese, or it wouldn't be cut right. So I just decided one less stressful thing. But it's worth the money.
It doesn't matter.
I know, but
this whole thing.
It's so interesting because you probably don't think it matters, but your husband probably felt like, like,
so
right?
No, totally. Yeah, Every time he's like,
yes. Okay, so coming back to like differences between you and your husband and how you think about like raising your daughter, do you notice like discipline things that you do differently than your husband, or is one of you like more caught up in giving the child structure or more freedom? Or can you talk to me a bit about that?
What's good about us is I really think we have a common ground.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
And when you have a child, it should be the first thing, but you don't always know before you have a child.
For sure.
Your own personal life goes back. But I feel we very much the same with education, which I think is very important.
Yes.
And also, I think the way our daughter is, she's got a very chill personality and she doesn't like to do wrong.
Yeah.
So you can only be cool, you know? Like, it's no point to be strict. And I do not like that. I don't like to be strict. It's never been me.
Okay.
And this is why I dislike very much with the French system as well. Because I think in France, for me, which strikes the most is every time you do something wrong, we call it like a mistake, or very straight away, it's like the big word, or it's very bad, I think, when it's just the process of growing. And I realized with Matt, I think the way our daughter perceives us is obviously I'm the mom, so she can get it,
of course,
whenever she wants with me.
She knows.
And as soon as the dad raised the voice, it's different.
Yes.
So I will say it's probably the only thing we have the same ground with education and values. But obviously, the feeling with the kid is the difference. Because me, I gave up, and Amy doesn't.
Yeah.
And also, she make me give up because she knows. So it's all education.
Yes. And so your daughter's in a French French education school, right? Where are they learning English in school, or is it all French?
So we decided to put Pearl in Sainte Catherine de Sienne, which is like a Catholic school actually in the center of the city.
Oh, that's great.
To be fair, at first it was more relative to logistics.
Okay.
It was easier for everybody. But we really like it because obviously there is a bit of an English program, which was very interesting for us.
Yes, for sure.
And also because in her classroom, she's in CP, she is in a class, which I think is amazing. And for me, it's really not French perspective.
Wow.
She's in a flexible classroom.
Wow.
Which means like there is this all like setup where the kid can sit in a ball, when the kid can.
Wow. That's like the opposite of what I hear at a lot of French schools. Even my children are at an international school and there's no flexible schedule.
So I think it's very nice because we have this whole idea like Catholic school, private. It's not necessarily this anymore.
That's great.
And in fact, I remember my husband one time when Pearl was the first year of school.
Yes.
He took her for like a day out with the school teacher and they went to a church.
Oh, nice.
And Matt was like, as soon as we went into the church, he said like, that was very beautiful what the teacher said. Because she said like, it's not about religion, is about a place where you can feel safe, wherever, what you believe. So I think it's not necessarily the Catholic strict. It really depends on the school.
I've heard that actually from a few French families that are at Catholic schools have said the old perspective of like Catholic schools. So I went to Catholic schools in the United States my entire life.
Oh yeah.
And they were very strict. I would say like compared to now, like I had nuns for teachers and it was, it's a different type of mentality. But I was hearing in France that in some ways the Catholic schools have become more like free and open-minded, and then even like some of the like traditional public schools. Would you agree? Like you kind of see
I would agree, but I think also this is what I like about France, not to go into like very complicated debate, is this idea of laicity. Things like my husband don't understand. And for me, it's very difficult to explain to him as well.
Could you explain it a little, like try?
I'm going to try. Okay. So the laicity is the idea where in the Republic of France, you should be able to believe in your own croyance, to have your own beliefs. But at the same so it means like it's not because you're going to a Catholic school, then it's all about Catholic religion. And this is because it's imposed by the government, by the Republic. It's a value. It's a liberty, and it's very much well explained in the French Republic system. It's a principle.
Okay.
So it's very interesting because my husband doesn't really get it, you know?
I've had it explained to me.
Why do you have to make it like a
I
deal?
Still don't understand.
It's a very complicated notion, but I think this is very much like France.
Interesting. So it's almost like one of the core values of the Republic versus a certain type of like theology is the word of like, you know, if you want to follow a certain type of religion, like Catholic, you would follow the doctrine of the Catholic Church. But I'm hearing, and you're the second person to explain this to me. So I'm trying
but it's very
I never quite get it.
No, it is very difficult. My husband still doesn't completely get it.
But I think what I think I understand of it, I appreciate, because I think it's about more the value system than it is about like adhering to a certain doctrine. Would you agree that's somewhat of
also it's the idea when you're at school.
Yes.
You can believe everything.
You don't have
but
to.
But it doesn't matter. It shouldn't come between you and the instruction.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
So I think that's quite interesting.
Great. Yeah, that's
no
really
matter
nice.
What your neighbor thinks,
right?
You can think your own things, but at the same time, the instruction is there and you interpret the way you want. But I like that, but it's very difficult to explain to a British person.
Yes, for sure.
It's difficult.
Yes, and it's interesting because it's almost like a dichotomy, because in some ways you were saying the French have so many rigid rules, right? But then in other ways there's maybe more like freedom of allowing a child to think and believe what they want, right? So it's kind of an interesting perspective.
Do, but as long as it doesn't come into the education system. So it's almost like you have to leave your things outside of the door of the school.
Okay.
So this is why when you go to a Catholic school, it doesn't mean necessarily, it depends of which kind of school, obviously.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean you have to follow the doctrine of the Catholicism, or like it's not any longer like this because of the French public laicity.
Okay. Would you say like a lot of people in France are still very like practicing Catholics?
It's difficult for me to have perspective on this because obviously, even though Pearl is at a Catholic school and us, we consider ourselves like we accept any religion, but we're not necessarily practicing anything.
Got it.
But obviously, there is more chance to have Catholic people practicing in this school.
Yes.
So it's difficult for me to say. But it feels like with the time we're living, it feels like people are getting attached to religion again.
Yes.
It feels.
It's interesting. It's only my observation again, but I see like Sunday and Saturday evening, like the churches are still pretty full here. Like people
interesting.
I walk through like Sunday night, and actually I started to take my children to an international Christian church on Sunday evenings. That's in English, just for them to. I'll tell you about it. I'll send it to you after. But it's very interesting. It's all in English. It's run by a UK family, actually, and my children go to Sunday school then in the evening at this church, and that church is always full. And it's interesting because it's not just native English speakers. It's a lot of French families that also their children are learning English, or they want them to be immersed. And anyways, so I think that I see it still much more part of the daily culture than some other places I've lived in the United States, which, you know, I think to each their own, right? Okay, let's switch topics a little bit here. I want to talk a little bit about you and your husband, or just in general, the perception of dating, like when you first meet someone. So you and your husband meet. Is there a perception of like, we have to go on this many dates and then we can live together, or we shouldn't live together unless we're married? Or what is sort of the like cultural perspective on like what is acceptable in France or as a French woman? Are there rules? Are there no rules? I'm just curious.
I feel it's difficult because I just said there is a lot of rules for everything.
But this one doesn't have rules.
With love, it's almost like there is none. Like I don't, or maybe unless you're part of a very traditional family
okay.
or you grew up with some values and then you're very much aware of that.
Okay.
I do not think there is anymore.
No, not anymore. Okay, interesting.
I don't feel, but again, I met Matt, I was in London, so perhaps I was
different.
already like, wherever.
Yes.
And obviously when you're 24, it's again something a bit different.
Okay.
But I don't feel like, in fact, it's very interesting because I feel French people are seen like very much like cheating people.
Yes, yeah.
There is this whole
cliche of, yes.
It's kind of crazy.
And and you tell me if that's, I mean, again, just only from a perception, like, is that true? Like, I think a lot of Americans that may be listening to this have watched Emily in Paris, the show.
Which I didn't watch.
Don't worry. It's, I honestly, the last season's pretty, not very good.
No.
Personally, but, what is perceived in that show is very cliche of women and men having like affairs, like cheating on their spouses. And I think there's a very big cliche that that's normal in France. And I don't know that it's any more normal, like from what I've heard from other French friends. It's just that it's more like public than it would be maybe in other countries. I don't know what your perspective is.
But it's a very, very interesting one because I remember from Matt, we used to have this president and he used to have like an affair with a woman. And anyway, Matt, one time he said to me, I think this is so cool. You guys don't mind. You think it's totally normal. And in fact, it's true. We were like, well, he's just
having an affair. Yeah.
But it is true. Then we have this idea of the people who are president, we feel like they are like older people in some ways.
Wow.
In that respect.
Okay, interesting.
However, I really think like if you look at maybe statistics,
it
exists. I do not necessarily think that an English person will cheat less than a French person.
What I was kind of thinking. Yeah.
You know, but this is true that we, for some reason with love, we do have this very much idea of a French person who is more like free
and lovers and well, I noticed that the lingerie shops, like they're, first of all, they're gorgeous. Second of all, they're everywhere. Mm-hmm. And they're very like, they express confidence, I think, in a way that you don't see as much in the United States around lingerie and like the culture of it. And I feel like that is sort of like freedom of like, I want to look beautiful, like inside and out. And I want like, you know, a French mom friend told me, what's the first thing you put on in the morning? Don't you want that to be as beautiful as the clothes you want to wear? And I never even thought about that.
No, it is beautiful. I love the idea of lingerie. I think
you do, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. And I think actually I remember having a conversation with an Italian woman.
Yeah.
And we were having this conversation because she said to me, oh my God, lingerie is such a big deal in France.
Yeah.
I'm like, but Italians,
Italians are kind of a big deal too. Yeah.
But we were having this discussion. And then eventually she said to me, yeah, after all, every layer matters. And I feel like
every layer matters.
It's quite interesting.
That's super interesting.
Even though nobody can see it, does matter.
It's how you feel.
It's nice. It's the idea of glamour.
Yes.
Fashion.
I love that.
Yeah, me too.
Very cool. Okay. All right. We're going to switch a little bit. So actually I have one other question on marriage and keeping your independence. So on a previous interview, a woman had expressed, a French woman said, it's so important for French women to keep a bit of their independence, even though they're married. So for example, like she kept her last name. And it was important to her because that was her identity. Do you share that same perspective, or do you think that there is a desire for French women to really kind of keep a lot of their independence, even when they get married?
I feel there is, but I think also it depends of the context.
Okay.
Like, for example, if you know, like, obviously your dad had only girls, there's many things.
Oh,
I
interesting.
think.
So it's kind of like in the United States, the same type
You
of...
see, there is different things.
It's not so much of a cultural, like, I'm French, therefore...
I mean, me, for instance, I took my husband's name because obviously I also wanted to have the same name as my daughter.
Child. That's the same as me, yeah.
So because we wanted to be one unit, a family.
Yes, I know. I had the same perspective. Yes. Okay, so that's probably more, it depends. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes. Okay, question for you on like work versus like rest and workout and relaxation outside of work. Like, how do you perceive work in the context of your entire life? Is it like work is central to my life? Like it's so important? Is work like a part of you, but just one dimension? And how do you like kind of balance thinking about time with family, like enjoyment, pleasure time, work time? Like and I'm coming from a very American perspective where work is like at the core, like very, very central. I mean, of course, family and everything, but I would say like people prioritize work ahead of a lot of other things because it's so central to both identity as well as, you know, being in more of a capitalist like society of that perspective. So I'm curious what your perspective is here.
I used to think work was the most important thing.
Okay.
Before having a family.
Yes. Yeah.
Having a daughter has changed everything for me.
Yeah. Same for me.
And I had to review everything I was thinking about work. And it was such a big work, to be fair. And it's not something that I've ever going to finish. Right. No, I know. Because it's true that we do define ourselves as me, I'm a hairdresser.
Yeah.
But we're so much more to that.
Yeah, for sure.
And when you start to be a hairdresser and a wife and a mother, and then eventually you have to think of yourself again.
Yes.
It's so many things.
Yeah.
For me, work, it is very important.
Yes.
But I've also learned to take some step back.
Okay.
And now I use work to serve me and my family.
Ah, that's a good perspective.
I like the ideas and work can emancipate me as a mother. That's also my independence.
Ah, okay.
It's me in a different context.
Yes.
But I also like to feel like this is gonna allow me to have more dreams with my family. And so it's a very different. Before, work was everything for me, but now it has changed. Yes. And it had to change.
Yeah, of course. I know. I mean, I feel the same way. And I do like the work element keeps some of your own identity of who you were for a lot of your life, especially if you enjoy your work and you're good at it. Like it seems like, well, you're obviously good at it, but it also seems like it brings you a lot of enjoyment too.
And it's also your freedom.
Yeah, for sure.
Working like makes sense for you. It's really important. And obviously my work allows me as well to meet so many different people, which I love.
It's very cool. And I think it's so cool that you can work in English and French. Like
I love
very hard to find.
And that's something really, I think, special.
Oh, yes.
Because when we decided to come back from London to live in the south of France, it was also because we realized like, I just wanted my kid to be able to go outside, whatever, to have like very simple things, really.
For sure.
And I feel like work then has changed, but obviously being able for me to work in English sometimes was so precious.
I bet.
Because I used to love my English experience.
Yeah, that's so cool. So you can preserve some of that.
I have some of these. Yes. And I love the Anglo-Saxon perspective.
Yes, that's great.
I love the way American English think.
Yeah.
It really drives me and I love that.
That's
so I'm very happy that I can still carry on to chat.
Yeah.
Have different point of view. It's very important.
Yeah. What do you like about it as a French woman like that? What sort of...
I like the freedom. I really do feel like you have this. I think you're very much more optimistic than we are.
Optimistic. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I like it. I remember when I was working in London, I used to work in Hampstead, which is a very gorgeous place to work. And I used to have people, they will tell me like, oh, today I've decided I'm going to change my work and I'm going to do that. And it was almost so full of positive. And I think in France, every time you come out with things like it's always like, have you thought of this? And
it's like the problems first before
and I do understand why now, because I think the weight of administration in France is so much more complicated.
Yeah, it is. It's very complicated.
It's not so mobile.
No.
So I think it does shape people as well.
Yes.
But I feel very lucky that I saw something different.
That's very cool. And do you still try to integrate that perspective into your...
I try, but I'm also surrounded by it. And, so I try, but the routine, the day-to-day makes you feel sometimes down by this too. Because you feel like, I want, but can I really?
Yes.
You're supposed to.
No, it's so interesting.
It's not always. And you're supposed to surround yourself to good vibes.
Yes.
But obviously,
it's very complicated.
Yeah.
You're not the first person to share that. There's, I would say most of the moms that are at my children's school have lived somewhere else, even though they're French. And they said that's the hardest part of them moving back to France is the negative and pessimist, and that there's like everything is wrong before it's right. And they said that's really hard to get like used to again from coming from a different place that's much more like excited or optimistic about trying new things or just having an open perspective. So
there is no much encouragement. And it's almost like you feel, you have this age. Oh, really? Like, do you really think you...
do you really think you're good at that? Or
Anyway, so it's hard to
I understand.
step away from it.
Yeah.
But...
Oh, no, that's interesting. Okay, I'm going to jump a little bit because obviously you work in the hair industry. How important is appearance, like as a French woman? Like, do you think women are appearance concerned, not concerned? Like, I'm just curious, like, for example, in San Francisco, like a woman would not have a problem going out in her workout clothes, wearing no makeup and dropping her kids off at school, like wouldn't even faze them. Whereas I don't see that as much here, like that you wouldn't wear like gym clothes outside, and then you wouldn't like not at least try to look in the mirror and put, put some sort of makeup or hair together. What is your perception?
I think we are very much conscious about image. And I also think we have to step away from that because I think we are in Aix-en-Provence when it's a scenery as well. But as being French, I can see that the idea of being French is to be beautiful, but almost like naturally. You're going to wake up in the morning, put what you need to put in your face, but
don't overdo it.
Don't overdo it. Yes. And also, like, if someone tells you, oh my God, you look great. Oh, really? I just woke up. For me,
it's
the cliche of the French woman.
Yes,
there is this, even though we can look most of the time effortless, quite often, always an effort.
There's an effort.
And I love this. I like this because I think it's very cute. That we really are. It's very French.
It's so interesting. I love the story you shared with me of how women will get Botox, but it's so subtle and it's so light, and then they lie about it. Oh, I haven't had anything done.
Oh, I just had some good rest. But I love this. This part. I think this is cute. And also it's true that you shouldn't overdo anything. You should be yourself.
Yes.
But at the same time, what do you really try to persuade people? And this is natural. It's okay, if you...
It's so interesting.
But I really do feel like people have a strong sense of style.
Yes, for sure.
And I think, going... Sometimes, I see it's not... Sometimes I see people bringing their kids, like, in a very casual way in the morning, like almost pajama, things like this. For me, this is always makes me, like...
Cringe.
Yeah, because I do feel like, okay, you're bringing your child to school to get some education and to be active to this world and part of it. But you going to do it in pajama, it's just, for me,
doesn't feel right.
The message is not there.
No.
So I think most of the time, people do think like me, like you dress up, like...
You dress your children nicely.
Yes.
Yes.
But also, I do feel like nowadays we're going towards a more casual time with fashion and everything.
Yeah, interesting.
So it's like I think actually more and more now you can meet a French woman with leggings because she had like a Pilates session in the morning, or perhaps she wanted to go and she decided and that's okay. She's not going to go back and change. And before that, I think that was more rare.
Interesting.
But I think it's also because now like the casual, like the legging, all of this Lululemon
totally
culture it's fashionable.
Right. It's so interesting because I still don't see it very often, like in Paris or here, really. Like the wear Lululemon or Alo or any of your like yoga workout clothes out, or even if they are, it's like pulled together in like somewhat of a chic way. Like I don't know how to describe it, but like I'm always
it's never gonna be the sweetie situation.
Totally, they're not like sweating, and it's like they're still like have a really cool jacket or like I don't know. There's always some accessory way of that pulls together that looks great. So it's still not all the way to just like I'm sweating wearing my workout clothes. Yeah. Okay, a little bit switching topics. So I'm going to come back to food. So talk to me a bit about like, how you think about cooking versus like eating out. Would your family ever get like food delivered? Like, is that a bad thing or not as socially acceptable in France? Like, I'm just curious sort of the perception around that.
I mean, us as a family, we do like to go to restaurants.
Yes, of course.
That's the thing we do.
Okay.
Little things, but not necessarily to eat French food either.
Oh, okay. So you might branch out.
Yeah, I like to have different things. In fact, last weekend we went to Marseille to Grand Bao, a new place where you can have bao. But also it's because us, as we had a background in London, we do miss like the diversity.
Yeah, I miss that too.
Yeah, French food is amazing, but diversity is something that we do miss here.
It's definitely like I said, I don't even have to look at the menu of any French restaurant that we go to because I can almost tell you by heart what's going to be on it. Yeah. Don't you agree?
Even
like you
salad, salad niçoise.
I said you could probably name me the entire French menu at a restaurant without even.
It's always it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yes. But we do take away a little bit, but not so much. We do like to go to places.
Yes,
to
that's awesome. Okay.
I think it's much. I like this culture.
Yeah, I do too.
And in fact, I realized like when I was in London, I used to have some English clients telling me like, "Oh, you're French. Well, I prefer Italy." I was like, "Okay."
You're like, I don't need you to.
They were like, "Yeah, because we have kids in Italy. They're happy to have kids in restaurants. But us, it's difficult because French, they're always grumpy when you have kids at a restaurant." And I was thinking like, why would you say something like this? But I can see why they say that. But obviously, I think because we have still big culture of restaurant here.
Yes.
Pearl has been to the restaurant a billion times.
Yeah.
And she's okay at the restaurant.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and we're not even strict or anything like that. So I think it's a habit thing.
I agree. Do
you feel
yes,
this too?
I think that too. When we first moved here, and also because it's not like you can bring a screen like an iPad to a child in a restaurant, which you'll see a lot in the United States. And I've seen it more in London than I have here too. And so you're worried because these meals are double the time that people eat in the United States. And the child has to sit there those 2 hours without any sort of entertainment. But now my children, after 2.5 years of it, like actually enjoy it. Like they're used to it and they kind of know what to expect. And they love like, oh, I want to try this like flavor of sirop. Like sirop is like,
I think it's just a habit thing.
It's a habit thing. And anything you kind of get your child used to. And I love it because it's the time when you're sitting at a table together for 2 hours. Like your children are going to talk and you're going to have conversations and you're going to laugh about things. And that's such a special, like that's our kind of thing on the weekend too. Like it's usually a lunch because dinners here get late. So we have like a long Sunday lunch, like 2.5 hours. We'll order like the 3 courses and like, it's just our children now sort of look forward to it. And I never have felt more in Paris probably than here, like the judgment of kids at a restaurant. I think there's more restaurants in Paris that are like, especially in the evenings, like adults only kind of, you know, and I respect that too.
I do because I think kids evening, it's not always so suitable to cook for them in a restaurant.
It's not fun if they're tired and
it's just like a work for everyone and for them first.
Yes, for sure. So I think it sort of depends, but I do see, I see your client's point of Italy is like anything goes and, you know, the child can be running around the restaurant and no one's going to judge, where here it's like, there's still rules of like the child should sit in their seat and not.
But again, I think it's a question of habits because if your child,
interesting,
as you say, is used to,
but
eventually it becomes normal, you know, like, I mean, of course, Pearl, she's going to go sometimes walk around and come back, and that's okay.
Right, for sure.
But,
yes. No, my kids
and
too.
to go back to the French culture.
Yes.
And so we don't do delivery, food delivery.
Yes.
We go to the restaurant most of the time if we want some different foods. But what I like about the French culture, and I know because I'm married to a British man, I love the fact, as you said, we sit at the table and we exchange.
Yes.
The meal, it's about sharing as a family.
It's so great.
And even though you might think this is a normal thing to do, many cultures don't do that.
No, it's so true.
They don't sit at the table.
Nope.
They don't share about their day.
No.
And it is true that this is, as you say, the moment where your child is going to speak.
Yes.
Say something.
Something. Even if like they have nothing to say, that eventually for 2 hours, they're going to have something to say.
Yeah. But even if you're just at the table at home.
Yes.
We're sitting at a table
We're
together.
always at a table now. Yeah, it's true.
But my husband never had that with his family.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And when we went back to the UK at Christmas, we were talking around the dinner, and my father-in-law was like, but if you carry on to ask questions, she's never going to eat. I was like, I felt, maybe you're right. And then I felt like that's a difference of culture.
Because
I think that was very interesting.
Oh, because he was saying...
I was talking to my child, asking him some questions, because I think we used to do that at the table.
Yeah.
And suddenly he said, like, but it was not a nasty way. It was just a difference of culture. He said, like, but if you keep asking questions, she's not going to
eat her food because she's talking.
She's not going to eat, but it's part of us.
Of course. And that's so interesting.
I think that was very different.
That's very interesting. I mean, I can only speak from the American perspective, but parents are always worried about their kids eating. Like, are they eating that? Did they eat enough? Did they... Like, at least I still carry that with me. Like, I even breakfast this morning, I'm like, did you want to finish that? Or did you eat your fruit? And, I don't know, there's something ingrained in us that where I don't find that as much. In France, like, if a child eats their meal or doesn't eat, like, it's not.
Oh, I think it's a big deal.
You do think it's a big deal for you?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I was more observing.
I think there is a lot of... I found them quite strict with their food too.
Okay, they're strict.
Yeah, honestly.
Okay, all right. So you're still... Okay, that's interesting.
And also because of my background, I mean, fair enough, when I was a child, I was a difficult eater.
Oh, you were? Okay.
And I think because French culture is very strong.
Yes.
Very diverse.
Yes.
It's almost like it's crazy if your child doesn't eat like a veal brain or things like that.
Yes, it's a veal brain.
It's a bit ridiculous.
Yes.
It's like, so I do not like that.
Yeah.
But I do understand also the part of educating your child to discover different things.
It's very cool. Like,
it's a very important
for
thing.
Sure.
But you shouldn't get stubborn when he doesn't eat something, which is not common for a child to like.
No, like escargot at 3 years old.
I think I tried escargot for the first time. I was like 30 years old with my husband, British.
Interesting.
Never tried before. Never gave it up.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
I mean, when you see the animal actually alive, the snail, it's not going to make you want to eat it.
Yeah, no, it's really not. No. I'm not a very experienced
same. My kids are still not eating as much experiential food as most French children.
And
that's okay. I'm not forcing it. So.
But it was very cute because, again, when we came back to Christmas, my husband was like, I told you she will gonna like the English diet. I said to Matt, like, don't get me wrong. I love the English diet. But it's also a lot of potato.
Yeah, it's a lot of potatoes. Yeah.
Kids, they love potato. But it was beautiful because, of course, it was important to him.
Yes, for sure.
And she loved it. So
does your husband cook too?
He does, actually. To be fair, we are not so much of a conventional couple because he does cook more than I do.
Oh, he does too. Okay.
Yeah, and he does cook a lot of vegetarian food.
Vegetarian. Okay.
Yeah, which is quite interesting as well. Yeah,
it's like very healthy. So
it's awesome. Very healthy, and it's not so much the idea of like the typical man.
Yeah.
He does cook more greens than I do. So
that's good. My husband's the same way. He cooks healthier meals than I do. Yeah, I know. I prefer to cook like more indulgent meals. So.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to come to one last topic for us. Social media. So how present is social media like in your life, and do French women, I've noticed, and you can tell me if this is true or not, are less likely to like share their lives openly on the, like, whether it's on a social platform or just on the internet, or open, like, talk about XYZ things. In fact, a lot of my French women friends were like, oh, I wouldn't want to do a podcast with you. I'd have to talk about my life and about sharing things that were personal to me. And I said, well, you don't have to share like completely personal things. It's just more about your perspective. And anyways, and so I'm curious, like, is there sort of a reservation about sharing your life or being too personal or open, especially in whether that's social media or like a podcast or things like that?
I think there is definitely a lot of pudeur.
Okay.
I think you don't show too much.
Okay.
I think. But it's also a generation thing.
Yes, interesting.
Because I can see the 20 years girls, like they're always on social media whenever they're French or no.
Yes.
So I think for us, we grew up with the idea where you don't show yourself too much and perhaps you should keep a little bit of intimacy for you. But I think it's a generation.
Yes,
and I think also social media came in France maybe a little bit later.
Yes, for sure. So maybe
than in America or
for
in
sure,
the UK.
For sure. Yeah.
And I feel now we're using it more, but towards to have like for work.
Okay.
It's more a promotional thing.
Interesting.
I feel.
Okay. So there's not like around our age, like, 30s, 40s, like there's not a, like I'm a social media influencer.
No, I think there is.
Do you
definitely.
think there is? Okay.
But it's still a very a small percentage of the women.
Okay.
There is, because in fact, I don't know why you're 20, you could be on social media, and you're 30, you cannot, or you're 40, you cannot.
It doesn't really make sense.
But I think because we didn't maybe grow up so much with it
that makes
here
sense.
in France, maybe it might be the reason why.
Yeah, that's a good reason. Okay, Camille, I'm going to ask you one last question. What do you think women from other cultures could learn from the French in a positive way?
Women or like French in general?
The French in general.
I will say something very cliche, and I'm sorry about this, but I think this is the most important thing. I think still is the food.
Okay.
The culture of the food. And something that I love and strikes me still about France is that wherever you go, there is so many different regions where you can go.
Yes.
And the food, obviously, is still very different.
Yes, it's interesting.
And I like the pride of the people of those regions.
So cool.
So a few years ago with Matt, we went to a place like a lot of people know.
Yeah.
A place where you can ski, but it's not a big station.
Yeah.
It's called the Queyras.
Okay, I don't know.
It's in Alpes du Sud.
Okay.
It's beautiful. There is nothing there.
Wow.
It's very remote, very gorgeous,
lovely.
only 2 hours from here.
Wow.
I think. Yeah. And over there, of course, we met like a little cooperative, which is this kind of like little place where you find like the region area specialties.
Oh, cool.
And everybody will tell you, my favorite, that's the best cheese you can find in France.
So cool.
And I love this because even though I'm French, I discover things every day. Whenever I travel around France, I discover things that I've never heard about.
Yes,
and it's because it's still things very proper of the region.
That's so regional, yeah.
Yeah, and I love that.
It's very cool. Yes.
I think it's very important to still having a lot of a strong attached to your culture, to your heritage, and to transmit this.
Yes, for sure.
And of course, we know the big, beautiful areas like Paris, Cannes, but there's so much more to discover about France.
Yes.
And I love this.
Yes. I always recommend to people to take like a driving trip through France. And
this is the beautiful thing to do.
Little, like middle of towns you've never heard of.
Exactly.
And go to their little markets or their bodegas, like, and find like products that are made with such pride. They're so original and amazing. We did that in the north of France, and you just really
I love it.
Get a cool perspective. Yes. So that's a good one.
Same, like there is this region specialty, but there is also the galette des rois, which is so French. This whole concept,
you were explaining
cake. I love it. It's only like after Christmas. Like, it's so great. This whole idea of like having something special to eat.
Wait, can you spend 2 seconds explaiine? So it's called galette des rois, which means...
So la galette des rois is like a typical French cake that you only gonna consume after Christmas.
Yes.
So around the 6th of January, usually, everywhere in the boulangerie, you're gonna be able to buy a galette des rois, which is like a cake where there is a little present inside. And if you get the present, you have to buy the next cake. Or
so cool.
There is this whole thing about, and of course, all of the regions, they have their special cake.
Yes.
Like whether if it's the brioche, like, or if it's like the frangipane.
Yes.
But I think this is a very beautiful culture as well.
It's so great because I didn't know about this until you explained it. Because remember, I was telling you. No, because I knew my children wouldn't eat it. And then I'm spending...
Do you think?
I don't know. They're picky about...
But sometimes when there is a present,
okay,
they do.
I probably should have got it, and now I missed my chance because it's February. But I wanted to, because after you told me about it, I thought, what a cool tradition. It's like, it's a way to extend, I think, the festivity and the gathering and the celebration of the holiday season into January. And I'm so glad you explained it, because I was wondering why I was going to the boulangerie just to get, I think it was a cake for my daughter or son's birthday. I don't remember. And I'm like, why is there this long line on the middle of the day on a Saturday? And it was because it was the first Saturday of it's like the cake of the king is the translation. And I'm so glad you explained it. But next year I'm going to do it for sure. So.
But I really think the food is...
yes, the food is amazing.
It's great. Even I remember talking to an Italian friend in London, and he was telling me he was studying languages. And it was very important and very interesting, because he was saying when you speak in French, you have a lot of French expression related to food.
It's so true.
When in English, it's more related to business.
Oh, you're so right.
And that was very beautiful. He was studying.
Yes.
He was a very intellectual person as well. So it was good to have this perspective. So like in France, you will say you've got to mind your own onions. When
I don't even know that one.
When in the UK, you say mind your own business.
Yes, for sure.
You spend your time. So relative to money. When in France, you will say like he came like in a hair in the soup.
Yeah, the hair in the soup. Yeah.
There's so many things like this.
So true.
But everything is related to food.
Yeah, that's so great.
It's interesting, because even in the language is within our expressions.
And honestly, you have so many more ways. Like I read French recipes to describe how to cook something than I've ever seen in my life in a like English cookbook. And so much vocabulary that I was like, I have no idea what that means.
But so many ingredients.
Ingredients.
Sometimes it's like it's impossible to follow a recipe if you don't have 20.
Yes, no, it's so true. So I had to stop Google translating those and go back to some English ones. But anyways, well, thank you so much, Camille.
That was a pleasure. Thank you to you,
lovely. And we will, if you're ever in Aix-en-Provence, we're going to put her salon in our show notes so that you can pay Camille a visit. So thanks again.
Thank you.
We'll see you again soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.